Hello all, Namaskar. Welcome you back again to another session of Ayudh. Basically, today we will discuss about secularism, that is a topic in GS1. Further, we will see how can we diversify this topic to read about, to write a beautiful answer, to have a beautiful perspective in essay as well. So basically, let us start. Sorry again, we could not conduct Ayodhya since last few days due to some issues, but now we are back again. So basically, just a minute. Yeah. So basically, before starting, we will see what is secularism. Okay, secularism is something that has emerged out of the 17th, 18th, 16th, 17th, 18th century in Europe, where you know that the church had immense control on the life and wealth of all the people in Europe. So what happened as a revolt, as a European Renaissance, what they say, as a revolt to that, what happened? The concept of secularism came. Secularism means, in the general terms, it is the separation of church from the administration, like for example from the government, having influence over the government. Okay, basically it means that earlier church used to have an overwhelming what you say influence on the administration and all the on the governance part. But however, due to the Renaissance and due to the intellectual enlightening, what happened, the church was separated. Church was separated from what you say from the day-to-day administration and governance. And what the term came, it is like the watertight separation. It was in Europe, but India has a separate form of secularism that we will discuss. But what Europe had was a watertight separation, and what they say is also like something like the term is hermetically sealed. You can use this word hermetically sealed while writing for the separation of power as well here for secularism, because in the, you must be knowing, in the American what is, I'm just going off the topic so that I'm telling you where to use this word hermetically sealed. Also, you must be knowing in America the legislature and executive are separate. So the president and the senate and all the house of representative, they are separate. So that is hermetically sealed. They are watertight separated. However, in India, the what you say, the executive is derived from the legislature. Legislature is the executive is a part of the legislature. You must know what is executive. Who are executive? The executive are the government, like the ministers, the prime minister and all. They are part of the legislature. You cannot become a minister until unless you are a part of the parliament. Even if you become, you have to become. Even if you become a minister and you are not part of the parliament, you have to become the part of the parliament, either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, within 6 months. So if you are not, then you are not. So that means that the executive is derived from legislature. However, in US and all, the president chooses his own minister and they say some terms like secretary. So they are not derived from the House of Representatives or the Senate. Rather, they are different. So the executive is not part of what you say legislature in US. So there it is hermetically sealed. So now coming back to secularism. Secularism as a word, you must be knowing, secularism is again like where the church is separated from the day-to-day governance and all those things. So for this, what we'll see that there are two types of secularism that has emerged. The one type of secularism that is being followed in the European countries, including the USA and all. The other type of secularism is Indian. What is US and all? I'm just telling you something. If possible, please write them down because there are some terms of value addition. Okay. So this is the difference part. Like what are the difference between the Indian and Western form of secularism? So in Western form, as we have discussed, that due to the influence of church, the governance is separated from them. So what they are following is the arm length principle. That means that the church, that the religion will not interfere in the working of the state, and state will also not interfere in the working of the religion until unless they are a very big provocation. Until unless they are like what you say, they are against the governance mechanism, they will not. But so that means the state and the religion are separated now. And what happens? This is why you are telling it as arm length principle. Why? Because they are at an arm length to each other. So what means that the state is not influencing the religion and religion is not influencing the state, and they will not interact until unless there is a big problem or issue. However, in India's concept, it is the principled distance. Use this word, principled distance. It was coined by Mr. Rajiv Bhargava, and he said that in India, the state will not interfere or something in the what you say, in the day-to-day functioning of the religion, but it can interfere, but it can play a decisive role when the religion becomes a means of exploitation of the people, when the religion becomes a means of tyranny over the people. For example, what you have seen that the honorable court and in fact the government also has taken numerous steps wherein it has brought about a positive transformation in the religion. For example, what you say, although these are debatable issues, but you must be knowing, like for example, the temple entry of women, the court and the religion, the court and although the government stand is not clear, if I'm not wrong, but I'm not sure whether the stand, but the court, ultimately the court has said that the women are allowed into the temple in the Sabrimala case. So here what they're trying to say, that as a religion you cannot discriminate between men and women. However, there are other religious reasons that we must not go, but I'm telling another example is the where government intervened is the triple talaq. In triple talaq case, the government said that this case of triple talaq, which has been abandoned in many Islamic countries, is now followed in India, and which is leading to exploitation of the women. Just by telling 3 times talaq, the woman is getting divorced and without getting a chance to represent herself. So that's why they said that the triple talaq, banning of the triple talaq. Here you can see that the government is actively interfering into the religion. Why? Just because the religion, some of the tenets of religions have become a means of exploitation and all those things. So here this is the very important aspect. Like in US, they will not intervene until unless it is very necessary. However, in India, they will intervene when it is necessary, when it becomes a tool for the political exploitation or the exploitation of the religious tyranny. That's why it is said. So again, here it is the Sarva Dharma Sambhav. Here it is like in India, the term, you must use these words because they are very important. The Sarva Dharma Sambhav. What is Sambhav? Treating all religions equal. And treating all religions equal, what happens? But in Western concept, they are not. It is like maintaining the distance from all religions. But you must be knowing from where our secularism has been derived. The secularism has been derived from the constitutional aspect also. We have the right to religious freedom in the constitution mentioned. And by 42nd amendment, we use the word secular, added the word secular in our preamble. So our source of secularism is not by some means or customs and all. It is due to the constitutional mandate. The constitution is given. Constitution has defined this nation as a secular thing. Even before the 42nd amendment, which added the word secular in the Indian constitution, India was a secular country. You can ask why. No word of secular had been used in the constitution. However, it has implicitly there in the articles, what you say, the religious freedoms, article 25, 26, 27. So that is the reason why India is a very secular country, and what they follow is the Sarva Dharma Sambhav, that treating all religions equal. Now in the Western concept, it is the irreligious. However, India is non-religious. What is irreligious? I have no concern for any religion. But in India, it is I have concern for all the religions equally. I will not bias against any religion, but I will treat every religion equally. And no money of the taxpayer can be used to promote only one religion. This is something that is there. You must be knowing. If you read the articles 25, 26, 27, so you will understand that. Okay. Now you will see that what you say, like in Indian concept, the secularism, there are 2 aspects to it. One is positive and one is negative. What is the positive aspect? Positive aspect is that it is a positive engagement. For example, there are religious minorities. There are religious minorities, and the government has said, in fact, in the Keshwanand Bharti judgment, you must be knowing that the Honorable Supreme Court said that secularism is a part of the basic structure of the constitution. And that's why there are some rights which are given to religious institutions, in fact to religious minorities as well it applies, so that they can safeguard their properties, so that they can be prevented from the excess of the state's interference. And it also acts in a negative manner where there is religious tyranny, where the religions, some of the practices of religion have turned dogmatic, and they have been used as the exploitation of women. For example, in Indian context, you must be knowing there is a huge patriarchy that is prevalent in the Indian society. If these patriarchal systems will become a tool for the exploitation of women, then the honorable court and the honorable government will not allow it. And this is Indian secularism. For example, you must be knowing that earlier days the women had no right to inherit the property. But now the government has opened the door. Now the honorable court has intervened, and women are able to inherit the property after the death of the father. That is the co-parcenary rights. Okay, so this is Indian secularism, where India is actively stepping into the domains of religions when the religion becomes a mean of the exploitation of the people. When the religion, some of the dogmatic practices of the religions becomes a tool for religious tyranny. And this is where what Indian secularism differs from the Western secularism. And that is very important to understand. That's why it is that, and in S.R. Bommai judgment also, the Honorable Supreme Court has said that the state must maintain its decision, maintain its distance from what you say, from the religion. The state should not be like promoting religion and all those things. No, you should not do that. But what happens if the religion becomes a tool? And what happens if a religion becomes a tool for exploitation? What is violated? The welfare state. DPSP says that India is a welfare state, where the welfare of every citizen matters. And now if someone is violated just because of its religion, then it is very difficult practice. And again, it is what secularism is. It's secularism. If someone will ask you that what is the basis of secularism, you know the secularism's basis is justice. You can ask why. Because in secularism, you are either maintaining distance from the religion or you are treating all religions equal. That means you are giving justice to every citizen, irrespective of their biasness, irrespective of their affiliation to one or other religion. That means, for example, assume like many countries, in fact our neighbors, some of them are Islamic states. In Islamic states, you must be knowing that the state itself is proclaiming that we are Islamic state. In fact, you can see as recently as Afghanistan. And that's why there might be some, favors or all those things for all the affiliations of people with those religions. But in India, there is no such thing. I will treat people of every religion equally, and the state is not affiliated with any religion. And that's why, if I'm not wrong, it is in the S.R. Bommai case that say that if the state patronizes any religion, then the religion will become the religion of the state. This is a very important line. If you will understand, you can know that there is no state patronage in the religion, and that is which is very important. No such blasphemy in Indian secularism. Yes, regarding blasphemy, we will say the blasphemy law. Blasphemy, you have said. In fact, you would have seen that in in our some neighboring countries, the blasphemy is a very big offense, and the penalty is death sentence. What is blasphemy? Blasphemy is showing disregard or disrespecting to religious symbols, to religious texts, to religious figures, and it is like defaming any religion. But in Indian context, although there are some mob lynching and all those things that are happening, but however, the for blasphemy, the death is the penalty that is not there, as far as I am aware. There are other religions, like you are insulting the this thing and that thing, but death penalty in India is only for the rarest of rarest judgment. Bachan Singh case, Bachan Singh judgment. But it is, as far as I am aware, if there is any fault, you can just rectify me. But as far as I am aware, no death penalty has been given for any blasphemy case in India. But this is a normal thing if you will go to many other countries. They are given death penalty for blasphemy. So this is something that is very important. That's why you must understand what is India's position in secularism. Now that we have discussed something about secularism, and it is the Honorable Court has said also that secularism is non-negotiable. And in Bommai judgment, it is said that India is not a theocratic state. What is theocratic state? Theology means religion. Autocratic, you must be knowing. Autocratic means what? Autocracy. Autocracy. What is autocracy? It means there is one single rule, one man rule. What is democracy? Rule by the people. The demos is the word. Here, theocracy. Theo means it is the rule by the religious people. For example, you can say that many times the religious leaders are the rulers of the area. So India is not a theocratic state. India is a democracy. India is a state where the people are ruling people. That is important. And they say that no religion in politics and no politics in religion. This is very important. Please put it in quote unquote. Okay. And now you must be knowing we have religious freedom for individual, minority, and the oppressed. And this is something there. Okay. That's why I'm just going to another aspect of it. Just a minute. Be in line with me. So you must be knowing. Now we'll see that secularism is a concept. Was it there in India before also, or is it a modern concept? So while you are writing, if you get a question that please trace the secularism in the Indian history over the years, you can say that secularism, although the word secularism has emerged of late after the European Renaissance and all those things, but the concept of secularism, but the essence of secularism is there in India since time immemorial. How? You can say, please go to the IVC, Indus Valley civilization. You will see that there was no such like the religion and all those things. They were worshipping the nature. It was mostly worshipping nature. But it is not like all those things. In fact, you will go to many religious texts, like the Vedic texts also, and they say that respect everyone. See, here you must understand the concept. Where problem comes, Where problem comes and why secularism is important. Problem comes only when you say that my religion is the only religion that is true. Your religion is not a religion and that is not true. My religion will only grant you salvation or liberation or whatever it is, the ultimate concept, and your religion is just a false thing. This is where the problem comes. It is called religious exclusivism. When you are thinking that only my viewpoint is true and your viewpoint has no meaning to me, it is it is something like it has no value, then problem comes. And this is where we need secularism. If a governing man who is sitting over on the top becomes affiliated with such viewpoints, what happens? Then the genocide happens. You must have seen genocide during the Hitler's regime because he considered Jews as as an enemy to the state. And there was wide level persecution. In fact, there is a movie, I don't remember the name, wherein they say that the Nazi regime portrayed the Jews as if they are demons with some horns and all those things. This is where the minds of the peoples are corrupted against one particular affiliation, religion, and all those things, and they are persecuted. So this is where the term comes secularism, because the state, the government must view all the religions as its child. It should not bias among them. It should not interfere in them until unless necessary. But it should not treat one religion above the other. And this is what is secularism in the Indian context. In fact, if you will go again to the medieval era, the Din Ilahi, if you will go to the before Christ, Asoka's Dhamma, which says that you must culture mutual tolerance for all the religions. In fact, in Din Ilahi, Akbar also has propagated such values only. So the concept of secularism is not there in India just after the European Renaissance, but it is there much beyond that. And that is what is guiding Indian philosophy, Indian culture, Indian value since a long time. In fact, the Sarva Dharma Sambhav, this is not something that has emerged now. It is there since time immemorial. And in fact, you must be knowing, in our religious freedom also, there was an importance given to that every religion must develop simultaneously. One religion should not step on the other to go above. You must be knowing, in the non-cooperation movement, Gandhiji tried to incorporate the Muslim masses by merging it with the Khilafat movement. So this is somewhere, it is again a living thing, a living example wherein Gandhiji was trying to inculcate the values of secularism, wherein I am respecting all your views and you must also respect ours. So this is something that is there. Okay. Okay. So you must be knowing that some of the articles which say like the right to equality and all those things, but the main articles are the right to religious freedom, that the 25, 26, 27, 28, and in fact the linguistic minorities 29, 30. Those all things are the other minorities. Those things are very important. Why it is the importance of secularism? What is the importance of secularism? Again, it is the separation of religion from the state. Because the state patronizes any religion, it will become the religion of the state. The state will become affiliated with that, and you will not be doing justice with it. Because I say the basis of secularism is justice. If you move beyond it, if you deviate from it, you are compromising justice. And remember, the moment the edifice of justice is compromised, your whole nation might fall apart. And you must remember, again, we will come to the Western and Indian comparison, and I will tell you something that in Western thing, that there are two types of secularism again. Okay, one is hard secularism and another is soft secularism. What is soft secularism? Soft secularism is followed by USA, wherein they say that okay, state will not interfere in the religion, but you have the right to practice your own religion, and they are allowing the display of the religious figures, religious viewpoints, and all those things in the public arena also. But there is something called that is hard secularism or militant secularism. What is this militant secularism? It is followed mostly in France. And you must be knowing there are some hijab and burkini ban in France as well, many say. So why did that happen? They're saying that mostly even the overt expression of religious symbol is not allowed in public spaces. It is, you are taking a very hard stance against religion. And you must be knowing, the more you try to coerce someone, the more revolting it becomes. And that's why many say that it is the reason why France has seen a number of attacks and number of terrorisms in the recent days. So this is something that is there. But you must know that there are two types of Western secularism. One is hard and another is soft. Okay. But in the Indian context, it is the Indian secularism, where there is a positive case and a negative. There is a positive engagement with the religious minorities, with the oppressed, with the with the safeguarding of the religious autonomy. However, there is a negative engagement where it becomes a tool for the exploitation of the people. And again, you will say that why did Indian secularism is very different from the Western? Can't we adopt that Western secularism? Why we are doing another thing that we are okay, we are very confused state, like, okay, you are allowing sometimes, you are telling no, we don't allow. Why we are doing all those things? The reason is that India is a very diverse country. There is no, you must be doing, there are the society, you must be doing the societal arrangement. There are three types of societal arrangement you must be doing. One is, I'm telling you some concepts of the society as well. Okay. One is melting pot, another is salad bowl, and another is salad bowl, and another is mosaic. There are three types of societal arrangements. For example, and when there is diversity in the people. What is melting pot? For example, you must be knowing, for example, you are making some, like for example, you have taken a pot, and in that you are melting the, what you say, iron. You then put tin, you then put gold. Everything melts and they become one uniform mixture. This is melting pot. Why? For example, in USA and all those things, what happens? There are different cultures, there are different societies which are living together at a time. But what happens? They are so uniformly arranged that they ultimately leave about most of their religious affiliations, and they get adapted to the modern culture, wherein each individual identity of all religions or the diverse cultural groups, they are gone apart and they are made, they are synthesized. They adapt themselves into one single cultural system. This is melting pot. However, the next is salad bowl. What is salad bowl? You must have seen the salad. There are cucumber, there are tomatoes, there are onion. They all have their individual existence. But what happens? These individual things are there. These different diverse peoples are there. They retain their individuality. Like for example, there are 5 religions in an area. They retain this thing. But what happens? They have not much interconnectedness, or they have not much interaction with each other. Just like the cucumber is separate from the tomato and the onion, the different diverse groups are again separate from each other. This is the salad bowl. What is the mosaic? The mosaic is that wherein each small, you must have seen, like for example, there are some pictures wherein dot 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 is there, but when you look from this, from very big, from very far place, you will see that those dot 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 dot, those small pictures are making a very big picture which can be identified. For example, you must assume this small square size pictures are there, and you are seeing that these are very small pictures, but and they are arranged in a pattern, and when you go back and see, you see that, oh, they have made the face of the Sachin Tendulkar. You must have seen some art. This is the mosaic culture, wherein each individual diverse community is maintaining its individuality, but when they are intermingling, when they have arranged into the nation, they are making another bigger picture than that. And India is a mosaic culture, because we all have like Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Isai, Bengali, Odia, and all those things. But what happens? At the end, we all are Indians. The bigger picture is that we all are Indians. And we have maintained this individuality in our collectivity. This is very important. That's why we say that it is unity in diversity. That is why, because there are diversity, but there is one unity, and that is being Indian, and we are so proud about that. So this is something like multiculturalism, wherein multiculturalism and pluralism, we have discussed that in multiculturalism, there is an interaction among the communities, and that is why this mosaic culture is there in India. So you must have seen that just because this mosaic culture is there in India, and India is a very diverse country, that's why there are a lot of people who are inhabiting there, and they have their own behaviors and all those things. And that's why India cannot make a uniformed approach like the Western. You cannot separate the state from the religion, because every religion has its own dogmatic beliefs, it has its own superstitions, and which must be crushed in the light of the modern era. Like for example, there must be something. The earlier days, the women were treated with with contempt, but now you cannot do that, because we are a modern society now, and we know that woman is not a liability for the society, but she is an integral part for the progress of the society. In fact, the half of the society is women. Okay, so that is there, almost half, because if you will consider the other transgenders and all, there will be some proportion. So almost half is women. So this is something, that's why we could not have a uniform approach that will fit all. So that's why it is very important to see that Indian context has also changed in all those things. Now there are some Supreme Court judgments also, like the Sirur Mutt case judgment, wherein the doctrine of essentiality is there. Like for example, if a religious practice is given to Supreme Court to say whether it is violating the Article 14, that is the right to equality, and Article 21, that is the right to life. So how does the Supreme Court will check that whether it is violating or not? So here comes the doctrine of essentiality. And what happens here, in fact there are other judgments also wherein Supreme Court has said that whenever something comes wherein we are dilemma whether we are encroaching upon the religious space, or upon the dignity of the human individual, there what happens? They will see that whether this practice in itself is an integral part of the of the religion or not. If they will feel that this practice is of the core value system of this thing of religion, then they will not interfere. For example, let me say, I am just quoting an example. This is just an analogy so that you will understand. This is nothing to hurt any sentiment of any people, because this is just to understand. For example, I have a temple, I have a place of assume here there is a deity over here, okay, and I am worshipping it every day, worshipping it by the hymns, the chants and all those things. This is a core practice. But for example, if I am using the there is no such precedent, but what happens due to customs and all, it is not mentioned in any religious text and all, but due to customs and all, every day I am making it wear a silk cloth. But if tomorrow I will make him wear a cotton cloth or something else, it is not a core practice. Are you able to understand? Like for example, if you are serving the God in a what you say, like a golden plate, if tomorrow you are like 24 karat, if tomorrow you are serving it by 23 karat, it is not violation of the core practices. What is the core practices violation? If you are stopping the hymn altogether, if you are stopping the havan altogether, this is a violation on the core practice. So here Supreme Court says, like for example, like the triple talaq. How did the Supreme Court say? In fact, in the Sabarimala judgment, they said that banning the woman itself from the temple is not an essential part of the religion. If it would have been an essential part, they might have thought that, okay, let us not interfere over there. So this is something that you must understand, that which is the essential part or the core part of the religion, which is not. In fact, this is the judgment of Supreme Court. I am not expressing my judgment at all. This is the honorable judgment of the honorable Supreme Court. So this is something that is there. Now in Keshwadanand Bharti, we say that the secularism is a part of the basic structure of constitution. In S.R. Bommai also, we have discussed that the state must not patronize any religion, and secularism is non-negotiable for Indian context. Okay, like there are others also, like Stanislaus versus State of Madhya Pradesh, which was against forcible conversion. You must be knowing, aware of all those things, like the Article 25, 26 and all, that it says that you have a right to propagate your religion, but you cannot forcibly convert a people. I have the right to chant, but I cannot go and tell to you, okay, my dear, I am forcing you. I have taken your land and all those things. You must convert to my religion. No, I don't have this thing. I can tell you that, okay, my religion is this thing, that thing, that thing, this thing. And if you are feeling good about it, you can yourself convert to it. Conversion of religion is allowed, but forceful conversion is not allowed. Wherein I am coercing you. I am telling you, okay, I will snatch your land. I will put you in a false case. I will do this. I will do that. I will murder you. This is not allowed. So this is something that you must understand. Okay. Now, in fact, there are something that is very beautiful thing, that you know what connects all the religions all together. There is one thing that connects all the religion all together. That is the spiritualism. Every religion you have seen that they have different customs and all those things. But what is common among them? The spiritualism is there. But what happens? In fact, I have read yesterday also, I was telling in the philosophy class also, that Ravi Shankarji has said a very beautiful line. Why do we have all this intolerance, religious extremism, that my religion is good, yours is bad, yours is good, mine is bad, and all those things? Why? Just because I think that my religion is the only religion. And this is what becomes. So Ravi Shankarji said that spiritualism is the ultimate goal. For example, he said that the cover of the banana is the religion and the fruit of the banana is spiritualism. What does religion say? I'll ask you, what does every religion say? Ultimately, it is the communion with the God or union with the God. You have to reach that ultimate truth. Every religion says that there is a teleological purpose, that you must evolve. You must make yourself worthy enough to get that grace of the God. And how do you make that grace of the God? That is via, what you say, via compassion, via serving others, via charity, by practicing truth, by Panch Mahavratas, by honesty, by all those things, by respecting all as an individual thing, by humanity. Okay, you have written. But what happens? What we do? We think that the religion is the ultimate goal. We forget that ultimately goal is spiritualism. But we forget and we think that religion is the ultimate goal. We don't try to go into that space. We are confining over here, and that's why Ravi Shankarji said the spiritualism was the fruit and the outer cover is the religion. But what the people have done, they have thrown away the fruit, they have thrown away the spiritualism, and they have got hold of the cover, the religion. And they are thinking that, okay, mine is good, yours is bad, yours is good, mine is bad. And here comes the term that Jainism Sadvad, that, okay, my dear, just as you must have seen, we don't know the whole of the reality. And everything that we see is a part of the reality. In similar way, that your religion might be okay in some aspect, mine is okay in some aspect. In fact, we don't know what exactly is the truth. And here comes a very beautiful sloka that I say everywhere. Akasut patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagarah. Yakasut patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagarah. Sagaram pratigacchati. Sarva devam namaskaram kesavam pratigacchati. Remove the last line, but I am telling only the first line. Akasut patitam toyam sagaram pratigacchati or yatha gacchati sagar. What does that mean? That means that ultimately each raindrop that falls on the ground ultimately goes and merges into that ocean. In similar way, these all religions are ultimately there to take you to that ultimate truth, to make you a better human being, to make you a human being who is considerate about his fellow human being. Just like, for example, for a mountain, you can climb it from east side, from west, from north, from south. Religions are that. But the peak of the hill, of the mountain is one. And that we have to reach. Our paths may be different, but the goal is one. Some path will take maybe 5 days, some will take 10 days, some will take 15 days. But ultimately we will reach that goal. So that is that way it comes. So we must practice something of respect to all religions. There might be something that one religion says this, one religion says that. But if you will go deep into that, every religion says only one thing. Service to man is service to God. Help all, hurt none. Sabka matlab paropakara punyayam papaya prapedanam. That helping others is the greatest virtue and hurting others is the greatest sin. When we detract ourselves from this philosophy, we go into what you say religious fundamentalism, wherein we see that okay, religious has gained a higher state than the dignity of human being, than the life of human being, and we are not even caring about the life of any human being. This is what is very important, and we must understand. Sorry, I become a bit emotional because at the end, what I see, that ultimate thing is human dignity of human being to live. Ultimate thing is that every human must get ultimate all the opportunities to develop itself into a full human being. So that is the ultimate goal. So it is always that religion must help you to make you a better person. That is what that is there. So this is something that is there. A difference between Western and Indian secularism, there are standard articles you can read from the books and all those things. Now comes a very important thing that many say, what are the steps to promote secularism and all those things. See, secularism is one thing, and there is another term that is called communalism. What is communalism? It is again the religious extremism, wherein the feeling of religious divide is there. That for example, okay, and you must be knowing in Bipan Chandra in modern history has said that there are 3 phases of religious communalism. That you must read. Okay, you will get the standard article over there. And what ultimately they say, that we are from different diversity and we cannot exist under one roof. And this ultimately led to the partition of this country also. Because this country, we have seen that I am telling that secularism is not a new phenomenon. But you must remember that this country is also the victim of communalization that led this country a line to be drawn in the middle of this country that separated it into 2 nations. So this is something, this is the irony that we have. So something that is there, and it was mostly on the religious lines. We all know that. Okay. So now here comes the another thing, that is the Uniform Civil Code, Article 44, whether it should be done or not. See, there are pros, there are cons. In fact, in Goa we have Uniform Civil Code. But at the end, the conclusion of this, because the pros and cons, they all are very standard. You go into any book, you will get that. But the conclusion is that you can always, make it a point only after discussion with all the stakeholders. When all the stakeholders are considered, are taken into loop, and after a rightful debate, then you can implement it. This is something that is there. Don't means like saying that okay, implement it and don't implement it. Those things are very impractical. Okay, now the consensus-based approach is needed. Otherwise, there would be one strike every day. How many you will handle? So that is something very important. And this is something about secularism that I wanted to say. And you must be knowing that what is the importance and all those things, why secularism is there, and why Indian context, difference between Indian and Western. We all have discussed everything about it. Now you can go to any material, read that, and you will be able to understand what is the value of secularism and why India needs it the most. Because see, the threats of not being secular maybe lesser for other countries, but it is very higher for India because India is a multi-diverse country. So you cannot separate, you cannot say that okay, I will do it my way or highway, because we have many different religions who are thriving under this country. So that is why it is very important that we must take everyone together with us if we want to reach to that goal of helping all. So that is what it is very important, and I want you to delve deep into it and read about it. And in fact, there are some previous year questions. If you want to discuss, I can just discuss one or two. Like what are the, like for example, how Indian concept of secularism is different from Western model of secularism. Discuss 2018 question. Very direct. You can write it on your own. We have discussed it. This is there. Now, what are the challenges to our cultural practices in the name of secularism? Here, it is very important that you must bring in the doctrine of essentiality. Because see, my cultural practices would be there, but they are saying what are the threats, what are the difficulties. The correct word is what are the challenges to our cultural practices. Like, see, in the modern realm, you might see that lot of things don't matter, because I'll say, for example, assume earlier in everyday, because I have seen in many of the temples here, although it is now the modern highlights are there, but they will carry what you say, they call it dihudi or a lamp, something that has fire on it. Just before, if the god is moving, they will take it in front of it. Why? Because in earlier days it was there, because there was no electricity back then, and they used to carry that so that to show the light. But many will say that now it is not needed because we have very high beam lights and all. So, but it is being continued because it is a part of tradition, it is a part of culture. Now, earlier days the purpose was different. Now we have some added this thing to it. So you must weigh everything in the balance of essentiality. If it is an essential part of the religion, and again, whether it is harming the viewpoint of anyone or not. For example, taking this light, taking this fire in front of it, a small fire, is it hurting anyone? No, it is fine. But if it is hurting someone, then it is different. For example, the playing of a loudspeaker in the religious things. This is something, and the Honorable Karnataka High Court has opined a judgment regarding it. So these things are there, and there are many cultural practices that can be weighed now when due to this modern light of secularism. And you can quote examples from here and there that you have seen in the religion. In fact, any specific quote that you have seen near your area, if you will put that, it will give you good marks, because that will make the examiner think that you know the concept and you are able to understand what exactly is secularism. Okay, that's it. Anything else that you want to discuss? I feel that for secularism we are done. In fact, there are some standard articles in all the textbook and all those things that you can read. You must be having your all notes, so you can refer that, and that's fine. Okay. Leveraging religion by state, religious leaders to propagate. Yes. Good thing that you made me remember. You must be remembering that somewhere like the Delhi riots happened. In fact, this some days back also, and there were many riots in Delhi and all. How do you propagate secularism? And this is again the point about communalism, like the divisiveness in the society. But there are peace committees that are made. There are peace committees that are made in a very unstable area where the religious leaders are called on to speak to their religious people, and to make them understand that they must prevail the peace and sanctity of this area and all those things. So the peace committees are important. You must have seen there are a lot of things. Okay. Leveraging religion by state, good practices like bringing girls into education. Yes, bringing girls into education is very important. These are all for communalism mostly. Okay, bringing sanitation, eradicating bad beliefs, useful at hinterlands, against dogmatic practices. In fact, in the DBA in the previous days, I have seen about a Padma Shri lady who had been given Padma Shri just because she had tried to remove the superstitions in the area. Because this is something that is that what you say, that maybe sound very unscientific. You must be knowing this is something that they say in Odisha particularly. They practice this. They say Khata Vidya or something. Khata Vidya means what, you know? They used to say that they will, a theft has happened in any village. What they will do? The Khata Vidya they will do. What the Khata means bed. They will carry a charpoi. Charpoi means the Khata, that is the bed, the string bed with 4 legs. And they will invoke some incantations, and they will carry the khata, and it is said that the bed will move by itself, and they will just carry, and wherever it will stop, that person is the theft, and they used to kill them, mob lynching, and they used to beat them recklessly. This might sound very unscientific. In fact, the government in the many parts are against all those things. So these are some of the superstitions. In fact, a lady from Northeast, I'm not able to remember her name, she won the Padma Shri just because of her very high efforts to eradicate superstitions from the religion and develop scientific temperament, because scientific temperament is a part of our fundamental duties. Good thing that again I have forgot something that you have told. What is the essay perspective of secularism? Okay, essay perspective of secularism. I'll say that here we have discussed That what is secularism? Secularism is mostly between state and the religion. But again, secularism, if you see from decipher from the essay perspective, it is a bit different because you can open more dimensions. What are the dimensions? For example, secularism means something that which belongs to this world. That means this world means you are negating spiritualism out of it. You are negating the concept of God. Don't use it for the GS1. I am telling you from the essay perspective because it is a concept in philosophy. Okay. You are negating the God. You are not saying that the God or something that must pronounce, or a religion must pronounce how I should act in my own way, in my own life, in day-to-day life. What you are doing, if you are negating religion from your day-to-day life, governance, it is secularism. But it is saying that secularism is something that belongs to this world, or it is mostly something which is related to matter or materialism. So what it promotes? It promotes scientific temperament. It promotes scientific temperament in us, that we should not believe anything on the face value. Rather, we must question everything. Rather, we must satiate our curiosity, our intensity to know, and we believe something only after we are confident and we have established beyond proof that this thing is not something built out of superstitions or out of imagination or out of some abstract thinking. Rather, it is something that is very real and is concerned with the day-to-day life of the person as well as the nation, of the society. This is something that is there. Okay. Yes. Leveraging religion. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How to improve communication skills and what is the source of your daily fact? Tejas, for the communication skill, it is mostly the number one thing. You must talk to a lot of people, in fact, in the preferred language. If you want to increase your communication skill of English, please talk in English. And in fact, you can practice it before a mirror. You can watch some movies of your preferred languages and without subtitles as such. It will help you. But the most effective way of communication is talking to people. Until unless you practice it, it will not happen. There are some self-help books also, because, like, for example, communication is not something that you are only talking. It is a dialogue. Both must interact. If I will tell you here, I will sit over you, oh, I have done this, oh, I have done that, oh, I have done this, oh, I have done that, then you will feel bored. Communication is something wherein I will tell something, then I will stop, so that you will also say some of your experience, then only it will go. This is basically a lecture type of session, that's why I am only speaking. But if you were face to face, then I would have asked, okay, whether you understood, okay, if you have any doubt, okay, what is this thing, what is that thing? This is communication. So, in fact, the art of communication is very different. In fact, you must try to see that what is the need of the person, what that person wants to get from me, and you have to address it. And in fact, you must throw some cues on him that, okay, these are the points from which you can take the conversation on. And this is a practice that will happen. You can take help from some self-help books also. That is very important. Okay. Yes. Okay. How to improve? Okay. Okay. Oh, these bots are very difficult. Scientific humanism. Yes, scientific humanism. This terms is very important. Scientific humanism is very important things, and this you must mention. Sir, some people allege that government violates secularism when leaders visit temples. How should see again? These questions will not come in your examination, so don't worry. In fact, if you want to see that, allege that government violates secularism when leaders visit temples. See, for example, when the leaders visit temples and all those things are there. In fact, if you see that most of the leaders, they visit all of the temples and all those things, and they are treating the religions equally. So basically, see, if I will become a leader, it does not mean that I don't have a personal life. I may be adhering to some religion. You cannot have a role on me that saying that, oh, I must do all these things and all. So that is where, if they are visiting in their personal capacity, that is fine. That must be allowed, because it is a part. Even the constitution has given you the part to practice your own religion. They have not said that the political leader should not practice it. They have given it. But see, if a politician is actively, trying to say that this is bad and mine is the only correct, then it is a violation of the constitution or secularism. But merely visiting, it is fine. They visit a lot of places. They have to do, because see, why religion came? Religion came just to answer the questions that we cannot answer directly, that we cannot answer by science. See, for example, when religion came, when did the first deities come? Like, there is one view, that is the mythological view, wherein there is Vedas and all those things, there are the supreme being and all those things. But you will see what the science believes is that, like, for example, the earthquake happened, the volcano happened, man did not have the answer. So he had to explain it, because the man is something, if he gets a question, he does not stop until unless he gets the answer. That is very important. That's why he needed the answer. He tried to see why this thing is happening, that thing is happening. And then he said, okay, let us end this debate by bringing an eternal being. And who is that eternal being? God. In fact, we will see the evolution of the tribal areas and all those things, because the early hunters and gatherers, they made the nature as the deity. Why? Because the earthquake happened, this thing happened. That's why they needed this thing. So this is the scientific thing. I am not telling my opinion, I'm telling the scientific opinion. The other religion, this thing is that, and at the end I say, I believe in every opinion. I respect and believe in every opinion. That is what it is there. But you must be known. So that's why it is there. So everyone has their own needs. The religion satisfies those needs. It gives you sense of security. So even though it doesn't mean, even though you become a political leader, it will happen. In fact, I was saying that one of our lady who has made us very proud in the Commonwealth Games. She has won a medal, and she was carrying the idol of Laddu Gopal in her hands, and the medal on the other hand. This is such a beautiful thing that she is keeping. Her personal thing is the deity, which has given her all the confidence that she needed for the exam. In fact, she was crediting all of her success to that deity, that he has made me to come to this place. And he was equally grateful to the nation, that he's telling that my nation also made me able to come here this, and I dedicate this medal to nation. So this is what is important. So everyone has their need, and religion only fulfills those spaces of the needs. That's it. Okay. Thank you. Kindly inform about the source of. Okay. See, source of death. I've seen that that's what I said. I have put it in a halt. Why? Because it takes a lot of time. In fact, I am appearing for mains. From where I prepare, it is from different news articles, from visiting the websites of Indian governments, of Western governments, of other countries, some coaching institute materials that are available for free, some toppers copies, and that's why you will know. If you delve deep into all those things, you will get to know where it comes. You can take any coaching material, you will see there are 10 judgments given. And if you go to any website, you will see there are n number of schemes given. For each individual state scheme, I used to visit their websites from some GK compilations, and those are the things. If you are not able to express, what you need to express now, then the very beautiful thing is that it is the reverse question. That, for example, this is the standard thing that happens, that if I'll ask you, what is an apple? You will without saying that it is a red fruit that gives all those things. You will say apple is something that goes on the trees, that has this thing, that thing, that thing. This is what you are doing when you are telling all those things that are not needed. The best way is to ask yourself that whether you have expressed yourself completely okay if you would have been the listener. If you would have been the listener to what you are speaking, whether you would have been satisfied with that. If not, what would you have you would have felt happy to listen. This is the being the self judge is the best thing, and you can take help of your friends. They will help you. Okay. Thank you. Namaste. Okay. So I feel we have addressed almost all the questions, and this is what I wanted to discuss about secularism. You can read other things about that. There are some emerging issues. Please read about Uniform Civil Code, whether it is the right time to implement or not. There are standard write-ups in the books. Please refer to them, and you will feel good. So this is all that I wanted to discuss about secularism, and thank you all for being here. If you have any queries, please tell me. Okay, I will end the session within 15 seconds or 30 seconds. Okay, if you have any queries, please write, or else we will end. I feel there are no queries as such, and you all people are doing. Do you purchase? No, there are some which, see, I have always said that some of the all-inclusive materials are very affordable rates, and I have, in fact, I have purchased some of the materials from some of the CS. They are available at very affordable, and I found they are of very high quality. So that I have purchased. In the earlier days, the materials were free in 2020 prelims. In fact, his prelims material are also free. Those, but for mains, I think I have purchased. As far as I remember, I have purchased last. Okay. And again, the thing is that it doesn't matter whether it is free or purchasing. You must remember your goal. I don't feel why the people are very much excited. I've seen, although many people and all those things, many times think that, okay, whatever help I can take, I have not taken all those things. That is not the case. If you can afford it, and if you are feeling that they are adding value to it, please go. Don't be into that ego that, okay, I will do that without help of it. If I tell you, you will not be able to live if you feel that, okay, I will do everything. You will fall ill, you need to go to a doctor. If you are feeling unwell, you will talk to your friend. If the vegetables that you eat, the food that you eat, everything that is there, we take help from others. So that's why don't even think that whether it is free or paid. If you are satisfied with this thing, that the paid thing is good, and if they are affordable and you can afford it, then it is fine. Take help. At the end, our goal is to be IAS or IPS and all these things. Okay. So not at all. Don't feel anything. Okay. Whatever is helping you, please take and ultimately reach the goal. That's what is important. Okay. So I feel we have addressed all the queries, and please, okay. I feel BG, B, BG. Yes, they are very crisp. You have correctly said BG. You can take the help. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Take care. Stay happy. Stay safe. And the one thing that I say always: never doubt yourself. You are capable of everything and anything. You can do everything that is possible. So please take care and do all that is possible to be successful in this exam. Give all your time that you have and give the best that is possible on your part, and you will be definitely successful. The world will be a witness to your success. That's all that I can say. Thanks again for being here. Namaskar. Bye bye. And thank you. If I have hurt anyone inadvertently, please pardon me. It was not at all my intent. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. I am ending the session.